G'day everyone, it's been a while. In this episode, we're doing some last minute trip prep for Cape York, and in a few episodes time, you'll see BARRA 45 driving the telly track. A typical trip prep video, people are going through what they're packing, and I've seen a lot of other YouTube channels go through that sort of stuff. I wish I had that luxury, but I didn't. I was wrenching on BARRA 45 until the very last second before we left. In this video, we're going to cover a lot of ground. Firstly, why I had two different diff ratios, front to rear, and what we're going to do to fix it. Secondly, we're covering why I'm not happy with my 80 series transfer case and what we're doing about it. We're also covering designing and building a spare tyre, gas bottle, and high lift jack rack, as well as fabricating some jerry can holders. I decided I didn't like the old style doors, so we're also swapping to some new ones, and we're making a spare turbo manifold. And in some exciting news, we're giving away a 150-piece half-inch drive Kincrome portable toolkit, which looks like this. Absolutely sensational. I might be asking for one of these bad boys myself. Stay tuned and watch the video to find out details on how to win it. Let me just say this before we get into the video. All this work was done in the last 2.5 weeks before we were due to leave for the Cape. I didn't think we were going to get it done. I was sweating bullets, and it may not come across like that on camera, but I was definitely stressed out. So huge shout out to everyone that lent me a hand getting the car ready for my big trip. Alrighty viewers, another problem for you all. You almost wouldn't read about this one, but basically as soon as I put it into four-wheel drive...
Righto viewers, it's the first time four-wheel driving.
It drives really funny in four-wheel drive.
And a lot of torque steer back there.
A lot of torque steer, Jesus. The only thing I could think of was the front and rear diffs being different ratios. So what we did was we put it up on a hoist, we put marks on the tyres, we span the tyres 10 times to see if there would be any variance, and there was. So it turns out that the rear is a 4.3 and the front is a 4.1. When I bought the diffs off the wreckers, it said they were both 4.1s, but evidently not. And I should have checked. They did write 4.1 on them, and I bought them thinking they were 4.1s, but make sure you count your diff gears if you're buying front and rear. So really good lesson to learn. Just quickly, I'm really happy with my 4.3 rear, really happy with the way it's driving. So I'm going to go 4.3 front, which it does open up the possibility of running bigger tyres at some point, or making it easier to run bigger tyres rather. So I guess what we're doing tonight, we're going to take this front diff center out. This one's already got the locker installed. Now the wrecker has given me a 4.3 gear set, so we're going to put that in. We're going to install it ourselves. I've never done it before, but Nick's coming over to help me. So here we have the 4.1 ratio, and then that's the 4.3. So what we have to do is swap this outer gear and then the pinion over from that one to that one. This one's the one with the air already plumbed in. We're keeping this housing, and we're just swapping the gears over.
The same way back together.
So neither Nick or I have pulled a diff this far apart before. So explain how it works, Nick. So you've got these two seals.
Yeah, so your compressor will feed air into here and into, if you look up in here, just you can see where it feeds it in between the two.
Oh, yeah.
Into that, out of that little hole, and then it pressurizes within this ring, which sleeves over this shaft here. And you see the little hole there?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then, so that hole is also between these two rubber seals. So when you hear of people's air lines leaking, it's one of these seals. The air is escaping through one of these seals. So it's annoying because you've got to go this deep to repair it.
Makes sense.
It's quite a long, we've been on it for a whole night with 2 or 3 people to get this deep, just to replace one rubber seal. Yeah. See if we can get this crown to expand a little bit.
Coefficient of thermal expansion of steel, Nick. What is it? Go.
3.14. It's just about pi. Don't know.
I think that's what they say on the engineering data sheets.
Similar. They use similar a lot in engineering.
Yes, Nick. I'm ready to see if
Ready.
the trick works.
Oh yeah, it's hot. Can you get a bolt into that? Oh, it's hot. Quick. Ha!
Yep. Bang.
We check the torque specs, and if you go like 2, see that?
Yeah.
You go in, and then you go 1, 2. We try to remember how to put it in without reading the instructions.
I like it.
Which is the important thing when you're about to go on a long trip. But essentially, we're setting the backlash on your front locker by adjusting these spin. If you have a look, like you can see here. So you tighten them up by spinning them,
which moves the whole thing over laterally, which will basically adjust the mesh on the pinion, which will set the backlash, right?
Yeah, correct. So we're moving this crown wheel.
Yeah.
So it meshes. What we're going to do is we'll put a bit of paint on here and spin it and watch where it meshes. And then I've got a dial indicator gauge so you can measure that backlash. So get your maths out.
So between 25 and 55.
Yeah.
So 55 minus 25 is 30. So basically just over the allowable.
Yeah, okay, so we're just got to tighten it up.
Alright viewers, so we got the backlash right and now we're just getting the mesh right. So we're putting some paint down it and we're just going to see what it looks like, basically.
So what we want to see is the pinion gear peel right in the middle of this. So we know if it's right out here, if it's right down there, those shims are no good on that pinion. Probably spinning the wrong way now that I think about it. But.
Yeah, I would say that's in the middle. Hard to tell, but...
In the middle enough for a Cape York trip, I'd say.
That's right.
I mean, this is only the front. As long as you're in rear-wheel drive most of the time, so this doesn't really matter. With the Barra, you don't actually need front-wheel drive.
Right.
We're going 2x4-wheel driving soon.
Alrighty, so we've built the diff. Everything's good to go. Everything's up to torque spec. The backlash is at 0.15 millimeters, so we're good in that sense. The gears are meshing well. You can see from the paint. We're going to put this back in the car now and then go for a drive. Alrighty viewers, the wheels are back on, all the bolts are torqued up, and we're doing some closed course testing at the dead of night. So the hubs are locked in. And yeah, we're all good. Before there was this mad torque steer and every time you put your boot down, the car was just wanting to go left and right. And it's not doing that anymore in full drive, which is fantastic. So it means we've got the right ratios in, the 4.3s. Alrighty, so that's another job done. We are getting closer to getting all the bugs out of this thing. That's a big bug, by the way. That takes a while to do that. A couple of day turnaround, which wasn't too bad, but definitely a couple of hours on the wrench. So down at LCS today, we're less than 3 weeks from going up north to Queensland and hopefully going to Cape York. I guess I'm pretty bad at painting a picture of how much work this stuff actually is and how long it takes, but 3 weeks is going to be a real stretch. So we're swapping transfer cases to a 79 series one, and that's because I've wrecked 280 series motors already. So I had on the Ocker weekend on this transfer case, it shifted into four-wheel drive fine, and then after the weekend it just wouldn't shift into four-wheel drive anymore, so I'm sick of it. I want a fully manualised one. Let's compare the pair. So this is my 80 series transfer case, and this is one from a 79 series. So I guess looking at them, the main difference is that my 80 series one has the motor. This one has the spot for the motor, but it doesn't actually have a motor. The output is different, so you can see here that the 80 series one is longer, 79 series shorter, which is better for my build. It takes exactly the same drive shaft flange from the uni, which is awesome, and then the front is actually exactly the same, so my front tail shaft will bolt up, and I'm going to do that today and just drive with the front tail shaft for a while. As far as shifter location goes, it's exactly the same, so I'm actually going to use my current shifter linkage, which is awesome. I don't have to rejig it at all. It's the same reduction gear in low range, which is, I think it's like 2.4 to 1, and yeah, you can get further reduction gears on these, but they're like $3,500 or something like that. I'm not going to do that. I think it drives pretty well in low range. So if you're doing one of these builds from the ground up, no brainer, use a 79 series. Obviously if you have an 80 series one already, you're probably going to use that, but it's an all-wheel drive transfer case, full-time basically, and I've put a part-time kit through it. Part-time kit's basically a spool in the middle, and then my lever actuates high and low, and then this motor does 2 and 4. And now this transfer case was never designed to be part-time, and that's possibly why I'm having some issues with the motors. I think I've burnt through 3 of these already, and I'm just really not happy with it. I really don't want to be questioning whether my four-wheel drive will go into full drive out in the bush, which is why I'm doing this. I mean, I'm sure that if I put a new motor on, I could get it working again. They're not necessarily easy to, from the wreckers, they're about $150 a pop. So I'm steering away from this transfer case. It's almost just cheaper to get a 79 series one. Obviously you need different tail shafts, but again, a ground up build, it doesn't matter. So this will actuate. This is 2 high, 4 low, and 4 high, as well as a neutral. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's what I'm after for the build. People with an 80 series part-time will have experienced it. When you actuate this motor, you've got to go and test the front tail shaft. And I really don't enjoy that. With this, it should just be all through the lever, which will be awesome. And I won't be second guessing whether it can go into four-wheel drive. So I think they're the key differences. I hope I've outlined them all. I'm not exactly sure whether the casting is exactly the same, but there is a fair possibility that would bolt up straight to that. It looks like the same bolt pattern. Alrighty, viewers, here you go. The 79 series case is installed. Now the front tail shaft, let me grab a light and show you, just bolted up beautifully. As expected, the front part of the casting is exactly the same, which is awesome. And then the rear, I'd need to get new tail shaft cut, which will be 70 mil longer that way, which is really good for my angle because it becomes less. We got these 2 custom tail shafts cut. There's one on the car. I just bolted it up. And this is my spare, which I'm carrying. This is a custom length, Patrol one end, Landcruiser the other. I guess huge shout out to J&J Drivelines who turned these around really quickly. Very grateful for them. We're 2 days out from leaving for this trip and now we have some rear drive. I've been boosting around in front wheel drive for 400 Ks, testing out the front diff, which is all good. On to the fun stuff today. We're assembling my tyre carrier. I was talking about it when I got ready to go to the Yoka trip, but I have only just gotten around to it. This is my design. I designed it up in CAD. I got keyways cut so it all just slots together. Let me show you. Just like that. So just like Lego, so I've just got to square it up. These are actually cut exact and there's still a bit of movement in the slot, so you just got to make sure it's all square up. Let me stick it all together and then I'll take you through the actual design and you'll be able to understand why I've done it this way. Here we are, we're about 4 or 5 days from leaving. I've just managed to get my spare tyre slash gas bottle slash high lift jack rack all done. So I bought these parts. In hindsight, possibly could have got them laser cut, but I'm just out of time. Got a base plate here. So this is going to bolt up to the tray. Now this is a heavier design, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Instead of bolting all this stuff down individually, it's just going to be 4 bolts on this base plate and then everything else is welded or bolted to this base plate. So this spare tyre carrier is welded down. You can see I've got some stitch welds right around it. And then I've welded this gas bottle holder down as well. And I've just bolted this high lift jack holder into the side of it all. So yeah, I think we're pretty good. I'll probably jam a shovel in as well. We've got to paint this up and then we can bolt it onto the car. Whipped up a couple of jerry can holders in CAD 2. Not much to it. Got a tie down point across the top here and plan to use like a rubber or elastic style one as opposed to a ratchet. Designed in CAD, it's 2mm steel. I laser cut it and then we use the CNC press brake to get it right. So it's a 2-piece part. You can see here this part goes, it's like a big U, and then this back part here is an L with the bottom on it. So I've got to stick it together using a TIG. Well, I could use a MIG, but I think it's a TIG job. It is finer gauge stuff. You might be wondering why I'm carrying water jerrys. Rich, you've had a water tank in the car. Well, bit of an oversight on my part. I messed up the dimensions on the water tank, which is really unfortunate. And I couldn't get one made up in time. In full bump, it clashed with the diff pumpkin. So I've just had to go with this option. We'll just stick it together now, and then we can figure out how we're going to set it up on the car. So these are made from 2mm steel. I could have gone probably with 3mm alley, I reckon. There's no calculations done. I think 2mm steel's plenty thick enough. Trying to keep the weight down. Now, why did I go with steel over alley? It is easier, and I'm just under time pressure, so that's why I did it. No other reason. Otherwise, I probably would have gone alley. All these cutouts here are to save weight, and hopefully I haven't cut out too much, and they're strong enough. And obviously, I've cut my logo in as well, which will look cool with the jerry can contrast in behind it. So that's probably all I need to say on them. Pretty simple part to design. Good one if you're getting into CAD and that sort of stuff. One of the big problems I have with this car is the cab doesn't seal around the door frames. So these are the older style doors, which are a two-piece. This top frame slots down into the bottom piece. And you can see here, if you're looking at it, that there's a massive gap through there. I might get in the cabinet and show you from the inside out. So you can literally see the outside world through this, which means it's not sealed at all for dust or anything like that, which is really, really frustrating actually, because the rest of the cab is nicely sound deadened and sort of airtight, I think. I mean, it's hard to sort of tell with these doors in, because at 100 k's an hour, you can't hear yourself think. And it's really, really frustrating because I spent, I guess, so much time and money sound deadening the rest of the cab. As I said, maybe I could get a seal to work through here, like a custom seal or something like that. But I still think you can't polish a turd, and I just don't think these are the right doors for my car. So I've gone ahead and purchased some reproduction China doors, which I'm going to use. Here are some reproduction China doors. I mean, more or less brand new. I got Shannon to paint them up, so shout out to him. Did a really good job. We're going to run some taps through these threads and start assembling. I've had to buy all new bits for them basically, and hopefully they're going to seal a lot better. They're a one-piece door, so the top can't bow out as much as the other one can, and hopefully at 100 k's an hour it makes all the difference. So that's the current plan. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Got the new doors on now. Paddy helped me hang them. How's this one? So there's supposed to be a hole for a lock here, but for whatever reason, I didn't get one on the driver's side, just the passenger side. So I'm going to have to hole saw a hole out, and I guess that's what you get for getting China reproduction doors. But they are really good quality, just that hole. And I have seen them with holes, so I don't know, maybe mine they forgot to drill it or something like that. There's sound deadener in here just to make it all better and quieter. Enough of my rambling. Laurie doing my door seals, so he's actually a resident expert at it, and if you ever need them done, he has heaps of time on his hands for it. So make sure you hit him make sure you hit him up. Alright, putting the glass in. Paddy's come up with this genius idea. Come around here, Connor. So we're spreading the door out so we can get this channel in.
Alright, now you can take it out.
Sick. There's quite a bit of messing around here, not gonna lie. We're on day 2. I thought I'd be done within a day. And probably got another at least half day left. Just got Paddy putting all the door seals in now. I'll get it after you put this on, we'll film it.
The secret.
Laurie helped me out a heap with these door seals, and they're on for the first time, and they slam shut. Oh, that's not even fully engaged. So there's a proper seal across the top here now, which is so nice, and down that edge. So I guess that's the some of the advantages of using these newer style doors, that they do seal a lot better, and that's because they're a single piece and this top piece doesn't flex out as much. And we've got to put door cards on, but that's all pretty easy. So I'm going to go test it out at 100 k's an hour and I'll let you know the difference. Alright viewers, we're sitting at 100 k's an hour, and I don't know what it's going to sound like on the GoPro. It is pretty quiet in the cabin. There's still a little bit of wind noise, and I guess that's coming from the top corner. I don't have the top corner seal, so I've got to still do that. I didn't have the right one today, unfortunately, but in comparison to what it was with the old doors, this is just unreal. It's so comfortable in here. I mean, it is an old car, and you're never going to get it to seal as perfectly as a new car, but it's just fantastic in here, and now I feel way more comfortable and like I can spend a long period of time in this cabin. Shout out to everyone who helped, Paddy and Laurie and Shannon, who all gave me a massive chop out to get these things done in time. There's honestly two good days in assembly of these doors, so yeah, there's a lot of time in it, but yeah, it's worth it. It's 100% worth it. If you're considering doing it, do it. Let's take a little break from the build log for your chance to win this 150 piece half-inch drive Kincrome portable toolkit, which retails for over $500. So all you have to do to win is mention Kincrome in the comments and tell me about your trip prep experience. Was it like this, or was it all smooth sailing? And make sure you're subscribed to the Kincrome YouTube channel. So my new doors are finally on and all finished. You can see here that I've got custom door cards. So these door cards are available in a couple of different styles off lcs4x4.com.au. So if you look at this website here, lcs4x4.com.au, you can get them. And they just bolt up to the newer style 40 series doors. So we're in the shed and we're making up my manifold, and I haven't filmed it all. The main difference between this time and last time is I've done a proper V out of both sides, and I'm definitely doing 2 passes. So I'm doing 1 pass, pretty much fusion, and then the second pass will be with filler rod. So I've done that the whole way along, and I guess it's looking okay so far. I think this manifold will actually be much stronger than the one on the car, so it's really good to take as a spare. Now, if you've been following along, last time I took the manifold off the car, I made this crude jig to locate this flange in exactly the same spot, so I don't have to pull it off and muck around with it. Bloody ripper. Just got Matt here. Matt's helping me out with a second pass, just making sure we get it all clean so it doesn't crack again, basically, with my shitty handiwork. So you can see there, that's second pass, and it's way more filled in than it was last time. Bloody ripper, mate. Manifold take 2 is all wrapped up. So I had my friend Matt help me on some of the harder spots, and they're the good looking welds. Although I did do a fair bit of this myself, I just thought it was worthwhile getting him on. Definitely these junctions here and the back side of them are the hardest sort of welds, so I got him to help out with them, and then I did the double passes through here and here and here. Currently 11:15 p.m. the night before we leave, and I've just finished this one, so I've got to pack my stuff tonight and then we leave in the morning. So it's all systems go here at Design and Built. Okay, so everything is finally finished. It was absolutely frantic towards the end. I had a whole team of people helping me out. I didn't film any of it, but I'm just going to run you through everything that we've done. So I've installed the tub rack, the jerry can holders, and the max tracks now. Max tracks just nut-inserted onto the top of the toolbox, super light. Just bought these mounts off the shelf. And then you can see here my spare wheel carrier. It's still got a bit of wobble side to side, but much better than it was. I can always drill some holes and put one across it like that if need be. Got my high lift jack mounted down there, which is really nice, and it's a screw-in fitting there. And then I've got my gas bottle, which is outside in the open now. So you can see here, I bolted this whole assembly down onto the tray, and then we put nut certs through so it's easy to remove. And that's that. And then we've got 40 litres of onboard water storage. Now, because they are bound by the tray, I didn't provision for a hole and a tap there, which is really annoying. It would have clashed with the side of this here, so I guess it is what it is. At least we can carry the water. It may be a little bit inconvenient to access. We're about to go on tour. The plan is to go to Cape York and then Fraser Island on the way back down. So wish me luck, and make sure if you like this content and want to see more of the car and some of the trip content as well, make sure you hit like and subscribe. Cheers. That's a wrap for this video, guys. Probably not your typical trip prep video, but we managed to get there in the end. The next few episodes, I'm really looking forward to showing you. We spent a month on the road in BARRA 45. So if you would like to see more of the car and more of this content, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Cheers.